I'm beach fishing with soft plastics, searching for the fish. Hi, my name's Roger Osborne, and in this video I've come down to the beach. I've got a variety of soft plastics and different weight jig heads, hook sizes, etc. And I'm going to be working my way along the beach searching for the fish and teaching you while I'm going exactly what I'm doing and showing you the lures and everything that I'm using. I'm pumped already because I can see a great opportunity waiting for me. I haven't even walked down onto the beach yet. So make sure that if you are enjoying these videos, if they're helping your fishing to improve, which is my goal, make sure that you like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Let's go down the beach. Okay, so I'm going to just chuck one out straight away. Well, I'm just going to chuck this plastic out. I've got a few different colours. See if I'm going to get anything to grab this straight off the bat. It's a little bit cold this morning. Okay, I'll chuck it out again. That westerly wind is freezing, but it'll help me to cast out. Very good. I can see some fish out there in the water. I had a slight touch just then. I'm going to go over this way a little bit. I want to try and get the wind at my back just a little bit more. That's much better. I got a long cast in then. Okay, I'm on. Oh, yep. My drag's a little bit light. Yoo-hoo! Okay. This rod I'm using is a really light rod, so I'm going to have to be careful with this fish. Whoa! Whoa! Hello, looks like the dog's interested. This is great fishing. Really is great fishing. Wow, this guy's leaping out of the water a lot. Trying to chuck that lure. Wow. Oh, I've only got 10-pound braid on with a 10-pound leader, so got to be a little bit careful. I'm going to try and get him up with the next wave. Now let's see how we go with this wave. Oh, no, it doesn't want to come up with that wave. Wow. Very active fish. Let's just see how we go with this wave. Come on, come on, come on. Yep. Oh, no. Maybe the next wave. You just can't pull these fish straight in when you're using light line. You've got to let them tire out and then use the wave to help you get them in. Like about now, I think I'm good. Wow, look at that. He is a beast. Hey, psst, psst. Hey, come on, out of the way. Look at that. This guy's a beast. Would you believe that? This guy has completely engulfed that soft plastic. You can't even see it. I'll pull the soft plastic out of its mouth so that you can see what I'm using. I'm a little bit puffed, actually. He's actually quite a big salmon. So I'm just going to open his mouth and have a look. You can see the jig head. Look at that. That jig head is right down his throat. Salmon haven't got overly sharp teeth. However, those are actually quite sharp. The teeth here are actually quite sharp. I'm going to put my finger down there and try and get this soft plastic out. I'm going to hold him by the bottom lip. Oh, she's still very active. And just try and get this plastic out. Where is the barb? That's the question. Okay, I've got it. All right, here we go. There you go, look at that. So that's the soft plastic that I've used to catch that salmon. It's actually a fairly large jig head. This is a 3/4 of an ounce jig head, and the hook's a 4/0 hook. And this is a 140 millimeter squidgies wriggler that I've used in kind of like a natural kind of colour. But you can see that this guy has absolutely snaveled this plastic. Wow, how awesome. At least the waves aren't too big today. The swell is predicted to get up bigger this afternoon. Even though the wind's really strong offshore, by about lunchtime it's supposed to be more than 2 metres. So I just sort of get down here this morning before it gets really big. It's going to get a little bit closer to the edge. I can see that there's a school of fish out there, so I'm just trying to reach them. Well, I just had a hit then. Okay. So I think that's a good spot. I'm going to go back over this way a little bit. Oh, had one then. There's a very obvious school of fish out there. You can tell by the dark patch that's in the water. The water's really clear and blue and green, bluey green, but there's a dark patch and it's not weed. It's actually fish. I just had one on then, so I'm going to chuck this back out, but I think I might try changing the colour of the plastic because I've had a couple of hits on that, but not heaps. So I think I'll try a different colour in a minute. Okay, on to another one. Feels like he's got a bit of weight in him. So I'm not making a lot of ground with my drag at the moment. Just tighten it just a fraction. Feels pretty solid. He's heading right along the beach actually. He's pulling a bit of line. Woo. Man, he's really bending that rod. This guy feels a lot bigger. Look, he's just taking line at the moment. He's slowing down now, but he's just peeling a lot of line. I've made no impression. Man, I just made no impression so far. I'm not exactly sure what this is. It's going to tighten my drag just a little. I actually can't do anything about it at the moment. Wow. I really want to get this fish in. This is a big fish. I really want to get it in. I at least want to know what it is. But it's taken a fair bit of line and it's heading down the beach. Whoa! And I've even tightened the drag a bit. Wow. Whew. Come here, Mr. Fish. It's going to lean into him a little bit. I hope he's well hooked. Okay, so I've gained a little bit of line. I can see him tracking over to the right a little bit. I actually can't see the fish yet.